Good afternoon. My name is Jean Francois. I'm the achieving owner of Jack Francois Management. I would like to welcome you all beautiful people to Covenant Cafe. Before our lovely host comes up and comes and talks to us today, I want to kind of share with you why I admire, love, and respect Dallas. Dallas and I met about 2 years ago through the Big Brother Big Sister organization. Dallas always has this beautiful and contagious laugh and awesome smile, and the performance that she always gave me. So of course, it took no time for us to get closer over time. Through our time together, Dallas has taught me how to no longer be bounded by the standards that others have set for me, to grow as I go within my business, and as well to not try, because trying is a lie. Dallas' way of mentoring and being a life coach is really not just a choice, but her life purpose. Along with being an author, a teacher, a motivational speaker, and ordained minister, there's nothing that this woman cannot do and overcome. Right. In the words of Dallas, she provides real love, raw truth, and radical results. And what she says is what she does. So with that being said, I would like for us to all welcome our beautiful coach and awesome woman, Dallas Ruffin. Please be back. Put her on the spot. Yeah, she did a great job.
Yeah, great.
So, welcome officially. So I don't forget. Welcome officially. Thank you all for coming out. I really, really appreciate everyone coming tonight. Before, if you didn't get a chance to, there is food here. I just want to thank our wonderful Ori Rod's Coffee Shop.
Yes.
We were just referred by a common friend, and I came to visit, and we just had a connection. We serve the same God and serve the same purpose, so they were willing to open up just for us, which I thought was amazing. They cooked this fabulous food that you're all eating. It's fabulous. And there's coffee available for purchase. If you have not gone to get a cup of coffee, please do so. We want to support their business. Also in the back, wave at us, Jackie. There's Jackie Pagan. She's selling paparazzi jewelry. Okay. So please go see her. I know it looks hidden in the back, but please go see her. Because she heard about this event and wanted to be part of it as well, which I think is fantastic. And we're just all very, very blessed to be together. So, I am so excited to share with you guys today. Before I can get to the good part, I have to tell you all the other parts. They're all good. They're all good. So, some of you kind of know my story, and others of you maybe just met. Maybe we shared one event together or something like that. So, for those of you who don't know me, I had a great upbringing, before becoming the rebound coach, My parents were married for 23 years before my mom passed away, so I saw marriage for a lifetime. I saw my dad care for my mom. She was terminally ill, had lots and lots of illnesses, but I watched him care for her, so it was a great example of love, of real love, of self-sacrificial love, and not letting the drama or trauma depress you the way it can. My parents were really, really good with that. So I watched that, and it was fantastic. At the same time, I was sexually molested from age 8 to age 16 by a family member, not my parents. But that kind of changes how you see yourself. It changes how you see God. It changes how you see men. So, if you know anything about those kind of statistics, people either, after abuse, they either go very, very promiscuous and have lots and lots of partners, or they kind of close in, like Medea goes clink clink, So that was me. I was clink clink, and I didn't, I was very social amongst people. I was doing lots of ministry work. I was, around lots of people, so no one could really tell that I was closed, but I was very much closed. And I got to a point where I said, well, I guess I'll ask God, maybe I want to date. I wasn't talking about getting married. just guess I'm ready to date, because I knew that clothes shouldn't be the end. You know, that's how I was coping. Okay, so it had served its purpose, but if I was going to grow, I couldn't stay like that. So here comes Mr. Man. It wasn't but like, I don't know, a month. It wasn't long between the time I prayed that prayer and the time we connected on MySpace way back in the day. Y'all remember MySpace? I just dated myself. Ray's like, what's that? Really? Y'all on So we connected on MySpace way back in the day, and when you knew it, he was like around the corner from me, walking distance, but we had never met. So you know that list that church ladies put together when they're single of people, the person they want to marry. I had a list like that. I did. Because they tell you you're supposed to do. Right. They say, tell God what you want. Right. So he was not the list. Not the list. Okay. But the love that he was giving, I was into that. Okay. So it was like second date. He's like, you're about to 31 women. You're going to be my love. And I was like, no. I need to back up with that. As a matter of fact, if you think I'm the one, I'm not the one. So, no. But, you know, he kind of won. He won that. He won that. And, you know, people say they have a honeymoon period and then they run into trouble. Not our story. So it was 15 days after the wedding we had our first crisis. Now, mind you, I knew we weren't going to be like other couples. I knew that going in. He's different, then I'm different. So I knew it wasn't going to be like smooth, easy street. I didn't know what was coming, but something came, and I had to decide what we were going to do, or what I was going to do. And very early on, after the wedding, I mean, come on, you just 2 weeks ago, like, the paint's still wet. So fast forward a year and a half in, we find ourselves separated. And of course, we got pregnant right away too. Of course, that's kidding. So in the time we were separated, I was the only breadwinner for the family, and I was laid off from my job. I had our first daughter, who was 9 months old at the time, with me, and I was 6 months pregnant with our second daughter, and it was crazy. I desperately did not want to be another black single mother. I didn't want to be that statistic. I was raised right. You know how they say you raised right? You know, aside from my molestation, I was a virgin when we married. So, I did what I was supposed to do. And I married the one God told me to marry. And how is it that I'm ending up in this place? And I was very, very upset. I was mad with me. I was mad with God. I was mad with him. It was just, I had a lot to learn. And I had to kind of face the music and see what I was expecting of God, and if those were the things that he actually had promised to me, or were those the things that I figured, well, if I check off these boxes, certain things were not supposed to happen. And, okay, so they don't out and out tell you that in church, but that's the underlying message. If you do this, this, and this, then this, and this is coming. So I'd done my due diligence, right? And I was pissed off that I was in this situation. I'm about to have this baby and without a husband. It's not me. And not this much. So God did the work. But before he did the work, I had to obey. Just straight up. I had to go back. God told me to go. God told me to go back. Not because things had radically changed. Not because he had apologized. Not because there was any conditions met, right? So I had made conditions that got me out of the house. If you don't do X, Y, Z, I'm leaving. So then I was gone, and my family's about to break up because I made some conditions. So you have to make a choice, right? Either you're going to stand on your flesh and on your conditions, or you're going to be humble and obedient to God. It's a tough choice. Because, folks you explain stuff to would say, and as a matter of fact, that happened. So, at the church we were together at, I went to a women's meeting right before I left the house, and then the first lady was running the meeting, and she opened the door for questions. Raised my hand. I didn't say like, hey everybody, this is the my dirty laundry. Like, I didn't do all that, but I said, oh, well, what if this happens? And you know, women are real smart, and they all read between the lines, and they figure out what you're saying. So, the whole room of women, and I don't remember if you were there or not, but the whole room of women told me to leave my husband. And that was the scary thing, because that's the church, right? I went to the church with my issue, and that was their answer. And I didn't know what to do. I was very hurt, and I was very scared, and I was very angry in a dark place. But I knew that wasn't the answer. I knew breaking up my house wasn't the answer. And I left there very discouraged. I left there very like, well, God, if this is what your people say, where am I supposed to go? You know, who's going to fight for us? Not just for what they think is right, not for the comfortable answer, not for what the world says. Who's going to fight for us? And I could count on one hand in that time period who fought with us, for us. With me, for us. See, I have no idea what he was doing, if he was fighting or not. I know what my role was, what God told me to do, and I needed a prayer partner because I was so pissed off. Because God told me to pray for him, and if I sat down to do it, all I would think of all the stuff. And I get mad, I'd be like, I forget it. I had other words instead of good words to say. So I had to bring people in to fight with me for us. And those kind of people are few and far between. And there weren't spaces that I could go and be safe to say, here's what's going on. Don't fight against me, fight for us. And I'm blessed to be able to create those kinds of spaces with what I do in life coaching. We create spaces for women who are preparing for marriage and smarter than the average bear. Smart people who know it's going to take more than the world's messaging to have something that lasts longer than 3 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. Like, for real. And I create a space for engaged women that are preparing for a covenant, not just a wedding, and not just any old marriage. They're preparing for a God-honoring covenant and need help to do that. There's lots of preaching that kind of gives rights and wrongs, and we know what's right and wrong. That's not enough to get through the trouble. There's never enough. This is why at abortion clinics, I think it's like 50 to 70% of them say they're of some sort of faith that frowns upon abortion. Mm-hmm. They know what's right and wrong. That's not enough. People know right and wrong. It doesn't keep them out of divorce court. It doesn't keep them out of abortion clinics. It doesn't keep them out of trouble. Okay? Accountability can help keep you out. Because accountability that you use keeps you out of trouble. Okay? I'm in a weight loss group right now for accountability I can use. Because you know we know what's healthy and what's not healthy to eat. Like, we know sitting on the couch is not going to be good for us. We know, knowing the rules is not enough. You need somebody who's going to check you. Right. And the girl is so sweet. I don't know. I'm going to need somebody a little tougher. She's really sweet. I just want to check on you. How you doing today? I need somebody to be like, where you at? I didn't see this. Where you at? All me on my stuff. But accountability really makes the difference between success and failure in whatever it is that we set our minds to. So God did the work, and in that 2 months time that we were separated, I wrote a book out of what I was learning. I didn't write the whole thing at that time, I was journaling for my life, okay, y'all. But just trying to make it. But what happened after that season? I wrote a book called The Fire Go Through: How to Live Happily Ever After When Life is No Fairy Tale, and that's exactly what it talks about. Because we can't predict life. We do our best, but that's not something that we can do. Only God knows the future. But we can control ourselves, and we can be satisfied whether we're abasing or abounding. You know, that's a skill. It's not automatic. We know that's the right thing to do, but it's something you have to learn and grow in and walk in. And there are people, coaches like myself, who can walk you through that and help you grow in that. So no matter what's happening, you're okay, and when you're okay, you can affect the world around you. That's how the change happens. It doesn't happen from anywhere outside. Because we're waiting for him to apologize, or waiting for him to come along, or waiting for the perfect him. waiting to smile at him.
Yes.
Ma'am. But any of those things from the outside trying to make something change for us. And that's not, it never works. It never works. We've tried it. We've all tried it at least 10 times. And it doesn't work. I forgot you were over there. I need to be looking at you. Come have a seat over here. Come. I forgot you was over there. Need to see the people's face. So you might say, okay, well, that's a nice story, Dallas. What's that got to do with me? We're here talking about covenant. This is the Covenant Cafe. What's this got to do with me? So, do you know that you have a covenantal legacy? You have a legacy. Everyone here, even my baby, have a covenantal legacy. All right? One was passed down to you, and you participate in what is passed down to those who come from you. Who here are parents? Who's your parent? So we have some parents who are not a parent. You're not a parent. She's like, I'm a great parent. It's okay. So we have a few. Debbie, did I see you? Are your parents? Okay, cool. So oftentimes when we're in relationships and we're considering marriage or we're in marriage, we don't think about how that's going to affect the baby. We may at some level, but a lot of times we're just in it like we're in it. We're close to the problems, we're close to the people, we're close to the noise, and we're close to the issues, and we're spending all of our time and energy there, not really seeing what we're passing down or what our actions are building. We're building a case in kids' minds. We're building a case for covenant, or we're building a case for breaking covenant. We're building a case for God's way or not God's way. Something God and I are continuing to discuss, and I feel like I'm on the edge of the thing, because things are moving. We'll have to catch up about that. But something God and I have discussed for years. My dad, big faith man. Big faith. My hero, my faith hero. I mean, he would risk all sorts of stuff in the name of God, and we ended up homeless. More than once. So, for me, I made a conscious decision as a young adult. I was not going to walk the same path of faith he was walking. Not that I was abandoning God, but as far as the way he trusts God with money and with not, like, he would just quit his job, like, God's going to bless his business. So, here we go! Crash. More than once. That was the cycle. So I'm like, I ain't doing that. Okay? So me and God are still discussing this because his choices, whether they were good choices or not, built a case in my heart as to what God would do for me or not do for me. And he's teaching me even now, that's not who I am, this is who I am. Yes. And it wasn't that my dad said, God made us homeless. Like, I made that connection. Or God caused this issue. I made that connection. And kids make that connection. And we all have connections that we made that are false. Yes. That guide our decisions. And so I'm at this place now, even when I'll tell you later on tonight, I'm at this place now where if I don't believe him, the thing I'm wanting is not going to happen. Right. My goodness, I want it. I want it. So I have to make a choice to abandon that old identity. And that's just one little piece. There's lots of pieces and lots of choices, things you don't even notice that you're doing, that agrees with an identity you don't want to continue in. And you won't know unless you have prayers that are like that, like God showed me. Or you sit down and write out, here's what, in January I wrote out my 2019 identity. And I wrote things that I wanted to be radically different than they already were. Okay, so here's all these opportunities in front of me for things to be different. And I have to choose differently if I want a different outcome. And the only way I'm going to choose differently is if I am different. So I have to go, me and God going back and forth, well, what about this? But he's a patient God, and he knows the inner workings of your heart. He already knows what's going on in there. So just be open to him. Yes. Just be like, God, I don't understand this. I'm still mad about that. I don't think that was right. I was disappointed over here. And there's no shame. Mm-hmm. There's no shame in that. He already knows. So you can hold it and be pretend. What's the use in that? There's no growth in that. Okay? Or just be honest with God and be like, look, this is where it is. I don't know about this because of this, and that. And then allow him to show you. Allow him to open that door. So you were either set up to succeed or fail as far as covenants go. And we know that God designed marriage. God said marriage is between a man and a woman. He said marriage is one time for a lifetime. So when I speak of covenant, that's what we're speaking of. There's other kinds of covenants. The debts that we make, like when we have bills, those are covenants. Okay? So when we're like not paying our debt or neglecting or ignoring, that stuff isn't like just by itself. Okay? It creeps into other areas of our life. The brokenness, the broken promises, we're sowing that. And then we reap it in other places and don't make that connection at all. We say, well, so-and-so's a creep because so-and-so didn't keep their promises to me. Well, you're also a creep because you didn't keep your promises here, 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 and here, right. And there's seed time and harvest. Right. So it's just something that multiplies.
Wow, preach it.
Okay, so here's what we know about broken homes. There's a ton of them, all right? And because there are so many, we've normalized it in our society. Normalized it, and so the effects of it we blame on other things. And we have all these other means of intervention. And other means of intervention are decent, like this, it's good. There's lots of programs. I work in social service, so nonprofit, there's lots of programs to help youth that come out of broken homes. But no one's going back to repair the home.
Right, right.
Or even suggesting that a home could be repaired. It's not even an option on the table. Oh, we're dealing with kids and we're helping youth and we're telling them they can be anything and they can do anything, and that is true.
Yes.
But if we don't go back and deal with their home environment, and you listen to teachers, listen to nonprofit people who work with kids, they say it all the time. We do certain work here, but then they go home and deal with whatever's at home, and it undoes all of our work.
Yeah.
And so I was in a meeting like that with some sentiment of Baptist Church, and I kind of raised my hand. What's up? Well, what are we doing with parents? They all looked at me like, crazy? Girl, why did you say that? Since they would say, well, that's too hard. It's too hard to go back and deal with parents. And not every parent wants to be dealt with. And I understand that. And that's true. But for those who have an ear, and I believe that you're in this room because you have an ear, there's something different about you. And when we put out this call, something leaked within you to come with that. Okay? So for those who have an ear, who want to not only do the work for your own family line, your own legacy, your own covenant legacy. I know that when we were going through the stuff I told you about earlier, the decisions I made weren't just for me. You know, I cared about the appearance of man. I didn't want to look crazy. Okay? So there was that. Like, I'll just be straight up with y'all. You know, you're in a church family. They saw you get married. They said what they was going to say. They all said stuff, too, okay? So, they said what they were going to say, and then here you are in this trouble, and I don't want to limp out looking like a lick, okay? So, or let me go the other way and slander their offender. Mm-hmm. You know, they go the other way and say, let me tell you how bad he did so you're on my side. Right. Mm-hmm. The honesty is the covenant takes two to make, and it takes two to break. Right. So it doesn't matter what the other person is doing. If you rag it on that other person, you're showing me your maturity level. Showing me where you at. Okay, so number one, I didn't want to look crazy. But number two, I didn't want my baby to be born into a mess. And I couldn't clean up all the mess, but I could be responsible for whether or not she was in a married family or not. That's what I could be responsible. I couldn't fix what he was doing. I couldn't fix a lot of our circumstance. I still can't. He's his own person. Mm-hmm. Can't control anybody else. But I can decide I'm not going to leave this marriage, no matter what. And God gave me something amazing. I'm so blessed. It's not like because I'm super. Like God gave me something. I can be in a situation where, you know, I was at a conference one time in Orlando, and I had a conversation with Isaac. He made me mad. And I was really mad. I was really hurt. And then I had asked him for something, can I go do this and so? And he's like, nope, because he's mad. And that just broke my little heart. And so I'm in this, like, there's like 2,000 people in the room, like a big conference, okay? And I'm crying. And the lady next to me is like, are you okay, honey? this wrong with it? Or I didn't say that, it's something else, but you know, essentially. And she's like, oh, that's why I got a divorce, honey. She was Hispanic, and that's how she sounded. This is how I got a divorce. You gotta leave him, honey. Okay. First of all,
My God.
the speaker we had come to see had just taken the stage. There's pearls of wisdom rolling off the stage. And I'm missing them listening to this lady. So no, I'm like mad about that. And second of all, something I can be like all the way mad, hurt, messed up, and all. If somebody just leaves, something raises up. No. I'm never leaving my, and I was like trying not to be loud because everybody's quiet and listening. I was like, I'm not leaving my husband, you hear me? I'm never, like, that's what I'm doing in the seat. And she's trying to go back and forth with me, and I'm like, no, we're not going to talk about this, right? but there's a commitment to covenant that you can have that just isn't rocked by life.
Right.
And life has the opportunity to rock us. We can be rocked over and fall down and break. We can hold on to our health. You know, those are the choices we have. We lean our own understanding and try to navigate ourselves, which fails every single time. We've all done that at least 10 times. Okay? So increasingly, more and more adults are choosing not to get married at all. They're cohabitating, they're just kind of sleeping together, they're single parenting. A statistic that keeps me going, 73% of African American children are born to single parents. 73%. We're all African American, there's some wonderful Hispanic people here, but that's a lot. That's the overwhelming majority. And I don't know anyone doing anything about that. We're doing something about that. Because it's a horrible statistic. And everything that happens outside of God's design, so outside of that, man and woman who are married to each other for life, any situation outside of that, there's compromise. Does it mean that person doesn't have a shot? Of course not. Lots of people do wonderful coming out of single parent homes. So it's not about that. But there's inner trauma. That's because if we pretend it's not a problem, it never gets solved. If we pretend it's not an issue, that whatever the household situation was, even in our own lives, if you look back at your parents, who here did not have like two parents married? Who had some version of a broken home? Okay, so if we don't look back and say, what about that pisses me off? What about that makes me hurt? And be honest and walk through that with God. If you never solve that, the rest of the relationship legacy is crooked. And it will be so until you go back.
Wow.
Until you go back. I mean, I'm walking through that even now. Stuff like, my parents were married. I figured that wasn't, but the abuse changed all of it. Changed all of it for me. So who I was willing to say yes to, who I was smiling at, who I was willing to let in my space, was all changed by my experience and what I thought I was worth. Now, I'll tell you this. Just because, like, people say, well, I have trauma, so I have low self-esteem, so I choose bad people to be with, so. And when we get married in that situation, people say, well, it was my low self-esteem that made me choose that dude, so I can get rid of dude. That's going to help me grow. Not. Okay. Even though God orders our steps, it says many other plans of man, but God orders our steps. So even though my self-esteem was compromised, and it was, my self-image was compromised, self-worth was compromised, the man I chose is the man God wants for me. How do I know that? We're married. And His grace is sufficient.
Right.
That's how I know. That's how anybody can know. You're in a covenant marriage, you got the right one, baby. It's not a matter of, and people say this too, well, who God joined together, let no man put asunder. So if I pick Wu-Fang, God didn't pick Wu-Fang, I get rid of Wu-Fang. Okay, let me just rewrite the script for y'all. Okay, God, when that was written in the Bible, people had what do you call that? Arranged marriage. Okay? So the man and the woman most of the time didn't pick each other. Mom and dad picked them. Sometimes it was the king who was just like, I like her. You know, it wasn't the way that we do relationships here in the Western world. So who God joined together had nothing to do with who picked who. It had to do with what happened when they got together. God joined them. He's the glue that joins the covenant marriage to become one flesh. He's the gluer. So who God has joined together, let no man put asunder. So how do you know you're in the right situation? You're married. That's how you know God put y'all together. So I didn't think of His grace position. That means there's something more to learn. That means there's something more to walk through. That means that His point for you is not necessarily happiness. Happiness is a byproduct of obedience. So when you're in right standing and you're seeking to do well before God in your covenant relationship or in your relationships, period. I coach a lot of unmarried women, and they say, well, you talk about marriage, you know, how do you prepare me for marriage? Well, who's the person who get on your nerves the most? And they name somebody. That's the person we're going to work on. That's what we're going to work with. Well, I got to go back and talk to them. Yeah. Because if you don't learn forgiveness now, you won't know it then. Marriages are intimate, so there's intimate injuries. When there are injuries, it's a close, tight, deep injury. Okay? So a lot of the time, our first reference to that are parents. So when there's mommy and daddy wounds, those are great practice grounds for marriage. Okay? Great practice grounds. Or sister or cousin or aunt or uncle or whoever it was. Even if you get into coworker and friend or neighbor, whomever. When we work on our wounds, we go back and deal with the wounds. We are learning kingdom strategies that will sustain us in marriage. When we learn how to be content, whether we're basing or abounding, we are learning kingdom strategies that's going to help us in our marriage. And we're learning the seeds that's going to make the next generation rise up strong. We're learning that because just like we watch our parents, they're watching us. It's a scary prospect. Scary prospect. 50% of first marriages end in divorce within 3 to 7 years. 69% of second. 76% of third marriages. 84% of fourth marriages. 92% of fifth marriages.
Wow.
Between 3 to 7 years end. So, if the key to a long-lasting marriage was to pick the right person, and they didn't get it right the first time, so they picked person number 2, and then they didn't get that right, so they picked person number 3, wouldn't the statistics be longer-lasting marriages on the second, third, fourth, and fifth?
No.
It would go the other way. Why isn't it going that way? Right. The muscle of stay did not get developed. The muscle of diligence, the muscle of resilience never developed. So your first one is like the one you try the most at. So you're working hard. Whatever happens, you get tired, you give up. Person number 2 tells you that they're different than person number 1. They might be, they might not be. But they tell you they're different than person number 1. So you sign up for person number 2. But people are people. So everybody comes with their load of crap. Everybody, including you. So when they like bust open their load of crap, and you're like, man, I ain't signed up for that load of crap, and I ain't strong enough to deal with that because I ain't deal with crap number 1 from the first guy. I'm definitely not dealing with crap number 2. And this is what happens. This is what happens. We hold on to a particular ideal of what we think it's supposed to be like, and if it's not like that, we're out the door. There's lots of folks that I've talked to that kind of have preconditions on, unmarried women have preconditions on what they're going to stay married in. I was at a wedding. I was at a wedding for a woman. She's like one of my heroes, okay? So her and her husband, there was domestic violence for some years, and they divorced, and she didn't get with anyone else. And then they reconciled years later. So I was at the Get Back Together wedding, which was completely inspiring to me, as I'm sure you understand. So, waiting for the wedding to start, I'm listening to this lady. She's a minister and I know her, but she didn't know I was listening because she talked loud. And she's like, well, I'm happy for them, but if this, and this happens, I'm out of here. I'm like, homegirl never get married. I'm so sorry. She's not. Is she preparing for marriage or divorce?
Divorce.
Divorce.
Yeah.
She's practicing her reasons to get divorced, and she's not even with anybody, to my knowledge. We do this thinking that we're protecting ourselves. And we are protecting ourselves from love, from intimacy, from companionship, from the stuff we're trying to get out of marriage. Yeah, we're protecting ourselves from that with your don't live. My job is no. Okay, so the effects of divorce on fatherless children are very, very well established. There was a study done, and I won't go through all the details with you, but they concluded from their long-term research project that the highest impact of divorce of children comes 15 to 25 years after the divorce. So not in that initial phase when they're kind of adjusting to life. They're coping, they're learning whatever they end up coping with, they're coping. Not in that time. The biggest effect is 15 to 25 years after when they enter into a serious romantic relationship. Not during their childhood, adolescence, or young adult. Now, the reason why she said that is they expect to fail. They already expect to fail. They fear loss. They fear change. They fear conflict. So this is why we have a generation of cohabitors. This is why we have a generation of single parents. This is why they're just, well, we don't need a piece of paper. Why? So-and-so had a piece of paper and it was a mess. Or because my parents never got married in the first place and we turned out okay. Right? But the okay is you don't feel safe enough to commit to the person that you love.
Wow.
Or you don't feel safe enough to have them commit to you. So was it all right? Did you turn out all right? I wouldn't say so. Wouldn't say so. There's some work to be done. All right? So what we can see here is perpetuation of rejection, selfishness, broken expectations, broken hearts, broken promises, broken families, from generation to generation. And despite all that the church and the world has done to fix relationships and to help kids, when I went to church, they gave the world answers. And they do. I mean, most of y'all have seen in church at one point, so I know y'all church people. They give you the same answers that the world gives you. Under this condition, it's okay to leave. There's all sorts of twisted scripture that convince people of those things. And if you're really interested, it's in the book. Because it's common. It's common. And when I bring out certain scriptures where Christ himself is saying, don't divorce, and Christ is saying, don't remarry, all the what about common. And I get it. But God's word didn't change. So what that tells us is his grace is sufficient for us, even in the worst of circumstances. And anyone who chooses to trust him in that will be sustained. Anyone who chooses. It's a tough choice, and I don't make nobody else's choices but mine. But I do have to represent what he says. Okay? So we give spaces, Redeeming Time Life Coaching creates spaces for kingdom women, for preparing for marriage, engaged women, and married women. Okay? There is hope amongst all of this stuff. Make sure I'm good on time. Okay. Bye, y'all. I did tell you fun stuff. Okay. Okay. Y'all will know while I'm excited in a minute. Okay. So, we can make a difference. I truly believe we can make a difference and change the culture. And it's not, people say that and they're kind of expecting some big sweeping motion to change the culture in whatever area that they're saying that, right? We can create a world where kids don't have problems. No, you can't. Okay. All right. The sweeping change is a fantasy. What's real is Margarita, her household. Margarita affects Regis. Regis affects Regis' son. He affects when he chooses, he's going to choose a bride instead of a, concubine.
That's right.
Right? He can make a different choice because of how he saw you model. I know you're a single mom, so he gets to see something spectacular. He gets to see you choose God's way, even with whatever happened before. You don't have to stay wherever you find yourself.
That's right.
Wherever you don't have to stay like, hey, I messed up, I had this trouble, this trauma, I made these bad choices, here I am today. You don't have to stay there. Same thing with me and my dad and all this stuff. Now, I can make a different choice, and God is gracious that He's given me opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. That's why we're talking about it so much now. I know this is a big thing that's coming, and I think it's okay. but He's gracious to do that, and the same for all of us. We don't have to stay wherever it is you find yourself, and being a person to live in integrity when you don't have to, and nobody, you're not going to get in trouble, if you don't. You don't get in trouble with the world if you sin in ways that are acceptable. Cohabitation is an acceptable sin. Fornication is an acceptable sin, unfortunately. Single parenthood is not looked on as anything out of the ordinary today. And we can change that in our household. We can change that. And when we do, our baby's choices are different because of our choices. And that's a good way to change the legacy. And I believe we all have that power. And what we're doing this year and what we've been doing since 2015 is inspiring that within each person. Because I believe that's where change happens. It doesn't happen from out there. It happens in the house. It happens in the heart. So we believe, amidst everything, amidst the relational poverty, the soaring divorce rates, broken home statistics, there's a remnant. There's a remnant of women who boldly stand against the lies of the culture and declare not so for her and her house. We believe that there are women who realize that if things are going to change, it starts with her. She stands for truth. She lives with integrity, dignity, and honor. She's humble, she's strong, she's beautiful, and she's passionate. She's a positive example to the next generation, and those influenced by her rise up and call her blessed. She works hard, loves well, and walks in her purpose under heaven, and she deserves a crown. Okay, so one of my favorite shows to watch is Undercover Boss. Does anybody watch Undercover Boss?
Love it.
It's like one of my favorite shows ever. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so the boss goes undercover, and he's amongst his employees, and he's just like listening to the underlings, right? People who never get to talk to the big boss. And some of them are excellent, some of them not so much, right? But my favorite part of the show is the end.
Yeah.
Where they're sitting there, oh my gosh, and I just cried, it's just chill. And I'm so inspired because people who do right when they don't think anyone is looking get rewarded. Yeah. Man, I am that chick. I just live vicariously through those moments. So we are creating that for 30 women this year. That moment to reward someone who's been doing it right. And maybe they don't do everything perfect, they mess up, but when they mess up, they get back up and do it right. They're endeavoring, they're seeking, they want to grow, they want to change, they want to learn. And I just want to reward the heck out of that. So we are, in addition to the regular Redeeming the Time bridal retreat, this will be our 5th year of annual retreats every fall. We are doing a retreat, but we are also doing an honor pageant. Y'all look at me like, what's that? Okay. Okay, you don't know? You're not excited yet? Okay. So an honor pageant is different than a beauty pageant. And there will be plenty of beauty. So make no mistake, plenty of beauty. We're celebrating, instead of the holiness of beauty, we're celebrating the beauty of holiness. It's an entirely different concept. So I want to share with you, I won't go through all of this trying to change the photo up there to take a million steps. We're just not doing that. But I will tell you, you'll have to just believe me that it's pretty, okay? Okay, so we are September 27th, 28th, 29th. It's a 3-day, all-inclusive, what's that called? Full immersion. So we're going to call that experience. And that ends in a pageant. September 27th, 28th, and 29th. That is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the pageant title is Miss Kingdom Bride 2019. Kingdom Bride 2019. What is Kingdom Bride? glad that you asked that question. And I'll tell you in a minute. I'm going to go through this. Hopefully, I don't get my details too mixed up and everybody tracks with me. Because there's many details that I'm excited about, every last bit. So, this weekend is literally preparing the bride. And everything has a few different meanings to it. So, we're on the surface, we are preparing women for marriage. There's 3 kinds of women that participate in this pageant. There's only 10 spots of each one. Okay, there's single, never married. That's a category. There is engaged to be married. That's like engaged with a ring and a date, not just like we're cohabitating and calling ourselves engaged. Not that. There's a bunch of that. Not that. Like you're serious engaged. And like preparing for actual marriage. Okay. And then married women. Okay? 3 categories. We are, God gave me this incredible vision. There are Hebrew themes within and throughout. That's our faith walk. My husband and I, we lead a Hebrew household. So everything I do ends up having that flavor. That's who I am. So God gave me the tabernacle as a model. And he says, I want to have an encounter with my people. He says, Dallas, get yourself out of the way. Well, okay, thanks. Get yourself out of the way. I want to have encounters with my people. So the whole weekend is designed around encounters with God, guided by the tabernacle. We're actually going to have a tabernacle on site for you to walk through and experience. Not just the letter of it, but the spirit of it. So the whole first day, we are going back to deal with the roots. So like what we talked about earlier, this is no use pouring stuff on top of a faulty roof, right? And we are a process from glory to glory. We go from season to season. And stuff we did, so with my abuse, right after that ended, I was just starting college. It was such a rocky time. I was like 16, turning 17. I was just starting college, very young, and my abuser had left the house. So, and everything was shaking, you know. So in the college time, I went to counseling then, and I had some level of healing then. I was like, oh, I'm good. Cleveland, you ain't good. You were so not good. But I thought I was coping, so I was good. There was another level of healing later and another level later. So oftentimes we feel like, well, I forgave my dad, I forgave my mom, and I'm okay. If you're here, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this online at some point, you're not okay. Okay? There's a reason we're together. And there's something God wants to get to you and through you and in you and out of you. And this weekend is about that. The whole first day, we're just dealing with us. Okay? The next day is when our tabernacle is set up. So we'll have him. I always do spa stuff too. That's something that follows me in my process. So there's a spa in this tabernacle. Did you know you can like it's a spa? Did you know that? God's habitation is very relaxing. So we will have foot services for treatment, like kind of similar to what we did last year. We'll have hand treatments as well. There'll be a place for communion, and not the little wafer, guys. Okay, but like in the Bible, the way they did it then. There's of course the actual presence of God, which no one can manufacture. That you'll get to sit and spend time in. No one's preaching at you. No one's saying, come on, get up and praise God. Come on. No cheerleaders. I'll have some temple service, but no cheerleaders. Okay? This is a walkthrough with you and your God and your Creator. There is a sacred spaces massage in there as well. I hope I remember everything. There's also practical workshops, so of course you got to deal with your inner healing and stuff, but also okay, well, when the food takes me off, how exactly do I handle that? Okay, so there's that too. Some practical training, teaching. I'm gonna have Papa Marguerite do one of those. Yes, you ain't getting away. So, and because I love the concept of rewarding unseen diligence, I'll have people to give points to people who are just walking out good character. Contestants that are doing leadership things, that are serving, that are hungry to learn, that are hungry to take advantage of the full experience. Like, that deserves honor. This is an honor pageant. So we have honor points that we're giving people who are doing the right thing when they don't know who the people are. So, you know, but, yes, baby, I know. I know. It's all exciting to me, and the girl's like, come on. Yeah, she's close to bedtime. I understand. It's okay. It's okay. Come on. Yeah, come on. It's not bedtime yet. So you got a good 40 minutes in you. Okay, so I know, right? So there's Saturday, and there's all sorts of physical bridal preparation. So if you think about what Esther experienced as she was preparing, those are the kind of physical experiences that contestants will take part in. And it is a competition, so there are competitive elements. So not just the honor walk itself, but in the pageant, she'll be judged on formal wear, poise, grace, elegance, and on-stage questions, plus her honor points. Now, the biggest part of this pageant is something God calls the honor walk. And I want you to imagine, I just want you to picture this in, okay? You know, about like walking down an aisle to get married. So it won't be exactly that, but it will feel like that, okay? You're in beautiful raiment that either you brought or you purchased at the event. You're in temple colors, and it's a holy moment, okay? As you walk down, you are crowned with a mantle. Mantles are, in the Bible, talit, or prayer shawls. You have heard of a prayer shawl? Yes? Maybe? Yes, okay. So, in Hebrew, that's called talit. Another way that that's shown in the Bible is a mantle. A mantle is like an assignment, like a heavenly assignment. So, this is not just like pretty girls prancing for pretty girl prancing's sake. Come on. Okay? This is a commissioning. It's a sanctification. It's a call under heaven. It's something sacred. And you're united with this. You're covered with this. And the mantle says something prophetic that is specific to you. You might say honor, or strength, or courage, or diligence, or grace, or beauty. And that is over you. And as you walk, there's a man in your life that could be, if your boy reads, he's getting there. He's a young guy, so he might not be there yet. But Pastor Jerry, or a man in your life, anybody. So, you know, a brother, a cousin, a husband, if you got one of those, boyfriend, anybody, speak a blessing over you. Regis is honored because she is strength, and she has great dignity, and she walks with the Most High God, and she is an integral woman who leads her child in the path of righteousness for His name's sake. So imagine that as you walk down, and she's presented to God as a prepared bride, as a kingdom bride. She's received by me, Prophet Jerry. Yeah? Isn't that a beautiful moment? We'll do that times 30. Times 30. And that's, we want to honor. We want to show honor and bestow honor. And this whole weekend is that. So we are preparing our hearts. We're being prepared, preparing our hearts, preparing our physical bodies for a moment where we are presented to our bridegroom, which is Christ. Okay? He's our bridegroom. So we're presented to Christ, we're received by the people at the end of the stage. Whoever those people are. Okay, they receive us, but we are presented to Christ as a bride without spot or wrinkle. Okay? And the other cool thing is the other spiritual element. The weekend is up to the weekend of Yom Teruah. Has anyone heard of Yom Teruah? You guys, no, you haven't. So I can tell you about it last time. Okay. Anyone heard of Rosh Hashanah? Yes. Okay. No? shake your head. No? Yes, you. Oh, okay. Okay. She's like, don't embarrass me in front of people. It's my adopted daughter. So Yom Teruah is called Day of Trumpets, or Day of Blowing. Okay? It is what Rosh Hashanah is now called that. The meanings of Rosh Hashanah is very different. It's more cultural, not the same as biblical. So we're going back to the biblical. Alright? The biblical meaning is blowing of trumpets, or Day of Blowing. The first time that happened was Mount Sinai, when Moses and the people were all around the mountain, and the people were like, yo, we can talk to God. You ain't like stuff. Why don't you let us talk to God? Moses was like, okay. Okay. And then they heard the sound of a trumpet that grew louder and louder and louder, and they were like, oh, I'm sorry, Moses, you're the man. Take it back, take it back. Okay. So that's the first time that happened, and it was the voice of God blowing the trumpet. And that was the time where the commandments came down for the first time. And it's probably too much to go into, but the commandments were a type and shadow of a ketubah, which is a marital contract. So covenants were made with terms. It wasn't just like, hey, let's stick together for life. Like, there were terms. So the commandments, the word of God, is our terms that we relate to Him and He relates to us. Those are the promises, terms, and legal conditions of our covenant relationship. Okay, so that was the first time they got that on the tablet. That was a covenant-making moment. So, way back at the end of the book, He's going to call for His bride with a trumpet. So, we are experiencing that, and we're walking that out in this weekend. So, the high point of the evening is not when our pageant winners are crowned. The high point of the evening is when we all hail the King of Glory. We will blow trumpets. We will blow trumpets to bring in the King of Glory, and we will welcome His bride. And after that, we will crown winners. Yeah, so the winners on the practical side, it was like, well, that's spiritual, but do I get stuff? Yes, there's lots of stuff to get. In addition to stuff from me. So we're putting together an e-course called Covenant University. I already have some tracks together, but it'll either be 90 days, it'll probably be 90 days. I'd rather have y'all for a year straight up, but I know people won't have patience for that. Okay, Esther went through a year. 12 months. Okay, you feel me? Okay, people don't have that kind of patience, I know. And I want my stuff now. This is why we get, disjointed breakthrough. Is CJ talking? That's okay. We got the button. We got a power. Yeah, this is why we end up with the disjointed breakthrough and revelations that go halfway and, stuff that start well and fall off because we want it so quick. And we're not really willing to put the work in forever or as long as it takes. And then we hold on to outcomes so tight that if the outcome is not even looking like it's going to happen, we give up. And it's not the outcome that we should be holding to, it's God that we should be holding to. And the outcome comes or it doesn't. But when we're in Him, we're okay. More than okay. We're joyous and things are good because that's what we're holding, as opposed to a certain set of circumstances that we really, 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 really want to happen because we think that's going to do something for us or in us. Okay? Okay, so 3 types of women that this experience is for. Single women to the seats of the crowd. Okay? You might be like I was, you might be functioning very, very well, but you might feel lonely and hopeless, which that's where I was. I had a lot of depression. I was suicidal. And suicide is a thing that doesn't come just once. It's something that it's like under the background, like a program on your computer. It's just kind of under the program. It shows up when you're distressed. So it was like an old friend. At a certain point, just kind of like, hey, we're buddies. So I was functioning well, but very, very hopeless. I was wanting someone to come rescue me, but pushing people away Okay? Both. Because I didn't know who to trust or didn't know how to trust. Maybe you're outgrowing people's acceptance and love and constantly coming up short, but you're smart enough to know that something's missing in the world's formulas, that they don't have the answer. And even the church formula for love. The church statistics and the world statistics for divorce are the same. We're following the same advice, we're getting the same results. Something has to change. If we want ours to be different, you can't control what anyone else is doing. If you want yours to be different, something's got to change for you.
That's right.
Okay, so single women who can see through the crap, engaged women who are thinking about forever, not just now. Lots of engaged women, they're in love, they're excited, but they know life is no fairy tale. They want to be prepared to make it through any storm. I knew we weren't going to be normal. Didn't know how, not normal. But I knew we weren't going to be normal. So part of my prayer in that season was, God, show me marriages. Show me marriages that are doing well, give me mentors. And I'll be pulling ladies to the side. Can you tell me about this? Because y'all look like you're having a good time, and it's been a little minute, and y'all still having a good time. Could you help me with some? And they would, with smiles and grace. You'd be surprised what you can find out if you just humbly ask. And that goes for any area of life. If you want to get better in your career, go find someone doing it, go ask them. You want a job in a certain place, go find somebody working there and go ask them. Whatever it is, there's a lot of wisdom to be had. And as long as we're trying to make it on our own and look like we got it all together, we don't lean on the help that's around. And you don't get there. No one gets there by themselves. Nobody. And people who are honest will tell you that. So seek the help that's around, and if you don't know where it is, go find it, or ask, pray. All right. So you're not just getting married to have a fun party. You want a covenant to last for life. And perhaps you look at the examples around and you don't want a 50% chance of ending up like that. That's the statistic, 50%. So, you're kind of, playing your bets. You're throwing the dice. When there's no preparation, or when there's standard preparation. Okay, the 3 sessions you got to go to say you've had premarital counseling is not enough. Look at the results. If the results are crap, the method is also crap. Okay? That's not enough. It's like this much of a starting place, and most people do that because it's bare minimum, and they don't want the trouble to surface. They want to get married and believe that it's all okay. Get married, but understand that this is a tough walk. And it's okay to know that, and you can still put a smile on your face because God is good. It doesn't, like people are like, don't rain on my sunshine. Don't tell me that things are bad are going to happen. I sat in front of a couple who's been married almost a year, sweet couple. I said, well, tell me your story. And tell me your story, and they're smiling. And the song beneath the words was, everything is perfect, everything is perfect. And okay, I said, well, can you tell me anything that you guys have overcome? There was nothing. All right, y'all knew. I get that. It's only been less than a year. And I gave them the hint that life was coming. And the lady gets like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What's going to happen? No, it don't matter, really. It doesn't matter. Life is life, and if you're not hedging your bets or if you're not preparing yourself, if your house is founded on the sand, right? And it's not enough to say, well, we're both saved.
Oh my God.
Look at the statistics. If the statistics are crap, the method is also crap. So just saying that we're both saved, it's going to be okay. One of the couple that counseled us before we got married, said, oh, y'all both saved. Now check it. I knew there was trouble. I already knew. I'm in a relationship. I know. I don't know everything, but I know, right? So chick said, y'all just have to be saved. And part of me like, ooh, she's not going to dig. For real. Had someone dug, I don't know, maybe we would have waited or something. I don't know what the story would have been, but I know there's no accident. So what happened was intended to happen so that we're here today. and that these 30 people get to experience what they're going to experience. None of that would be so if our story was different. So there's no accident, and whatever you walk through is all right. All right? It's here now. Okay. So the model for marriage is created by God. I'm sorry, did they lock you in? No. Okay. Oh, because you're like in a weird space? Yes. Well, it's later now. They might have moved stuff. But I was peeking. I'm just peeking. I understand. That's a scary feeling. I've been there. I've so been there. Like a whole.
Trying to get knowledge, and then all of a sudden I go out there and got a card.
Yeah. Yes, I feel you. I feel you. Okay. So the model for marriage created by God is Christ and His church. The model for marriage in the Bible is not love, marry, and hope for the best. Okay? The bride has made herself ready, is what the Bible says. A lot of times we're waiting for God to do something in us. We're waiting. He's going to come down and do this thing in me or for me or whatever. The bride makes herself ready, and He's the focal point. We're not the focal point. It's another thing I'm learning, walking through this level of now. We're not the point. Like, it's not about just how happy somebody might make us, or how happy we think we can arrange our circumstances to be. That's not the point. The bride's awaiting the bridegroom. Okay? So, for married women, I would ask, what have you prepared yourself for? What has been the expectation? I can guarantee is a big strong word, I can guarantee what you expected under the surface, you are currently walking out. I was expecting trouble, and I got trouble. Okay? I know that people who are like, oh no, this has blindsided me. Not really. Not really. And it doesn't mean like, oh, you made this horrible mistake now, and it's going to be horrible for you. No, again, His grace is sufficient. But owning up to the decision you made empowers you to make new choices in the framework of obedience. Okay, we don't get to disobey God and call that growth. Okay, divorce is disobedience from God. He said He hates it. So we don't get to say, I'm going to, by my own terms, get better. Okay, then you get your result. You don't get God's result. You get your result. All right. What we believe about ourselves influences what we walk toward and what we say yes to and how we treat others. Okay. So I talked about that. Okay. In real life, just as in marriage, things go up and down. It rains on the just and the unjust. While there is not a magic formula to avoid trials, there is a way to hedge against them. To spend more time making love than making war. And to get to the lifetime together that you imagined when you got married. Or that you thought marriage was at some level. You can have a marriage that your kids will want instead of one they hope they won't repeat. And that's something that I think of a lot. I want them to look at their parents one day and say, I want what they had. Everything wasn't perfect, but they made a house for us that was stable. That's my desire, to see them rise up and say that. So, if you're a married woman who believes there's a deeper purpose to be realized in your role as a wife, there's a bigger purpose in your union, you can be an example to the next generation. This pageant is for you. In society, so our society honors, we learn a lot about who we are as a people by things that we celebrate, things that we honor. So we are workaholism, addiction, addictions to success, sometimes addiction to failure, and addiction to like victimhood mentality, right? We celebrate the holiness of beauty. We honor the difference between that and what this is. We're honoring diligence, integrity, righteous living, and we're celebrating the beauty of holiness. So, brass tacks. We can have a cost. Yes. So we put together, looked at what all these experiences will cost. So the conference itself, the pageant coaching. Oh, I forgot. Miss Jacques Francois. Yes. So she trains models, or she represents models. And so she'll be participating and helping the contestants learn how to hold yourself, how to take a good picture. We'll have people come talk about like how to dress for your shape and beauty people. There's she's designed a whole makeup line, so we're talking. Don't give me that look.
I'm a data science. I received.
Okay.
Something that ain't there yet.
Who knows? Next September. Who knows what'll be there by then? Who knows?
And you look beautiful already.
Isn't she? Isn't she? Yeah. So we're bringing in people who are good at beauty, and good at clothing, and the fun girly stuff that we like. Okay. But that obviously has a value. Spa treatments. Making you look, mommy look. Okay. Spa treatment, hotels, and amenities. We are at the Edge Hotel in Clearwater Beach. Clearwater Beach. Yes, it is gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. And so everything together, like the value of everything, will cost $2,500 that weekend. So we're not charging you $2,500. We're not even charging you $2,000. Sound like an infomercial?
Right.
Yeah, right. It's not even $1,500 or even $1,000. This entire experience is $750. That's how much it is. $500 of that is your pageant experience. $250 of that is accommodation. $250 to be at a Clearwater resort for 5 days, 4 nights. That's a steal, y'all.
5 days, 4 nights.
5 days, 4 nights.
What are the days?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Oh.
I check in on Thursday night because I want all of you. I don't want the I'm hurried in from work you. I don't want the kids are screaming you. I don't want that. This is all you come away with me. Okay? Thursday night, check in. I got you all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. You check out Monday, a different woman. Check out Monday, a different woman. This is a full-on experience. Okay? Okay, yeah. So your minimum is if something's rising up in you and you're like, this is for me, I know this is for me, $50 is the application fee, hold your spot. We'll work out payment plans, y'all got 3 months. Summer, we got summer. So if y'all want to do that by paycheck, if you want to do it monthly, however y'all want to do it, reasonable. But there is a deadline. August 1st is the deadline to get all your monies in. But starting now, because we're recording this, we're not limited to Tampa, and we're certainly not limited to this room. So people are going to be filling these spots for sure. If this is for you, if this is for you, if this is for Debbie, if this is for Valerie.
Okay, so the single woman, so I'm married.
Okay, so good question, and thank you. So this is not for divorcing. Okay? Just because this is about covenantal integrity, that's one marriage for one lifetime. So the winner of this pageant is an ambassador for that message. And that's why we have this the way it is. Okay? Doesn't say anything about her value under heaven or any of that other stuff. For this, single never married, engaged to be married for the first time. Not like first engagement, but like first marriage. And then married also for the first time.
But it's still open for everybody else to still come and participate in, and they're not going to be, because you'll have more than just 30 women in the honor pageant, right?
There's 30 contestants.
30 contestants, but you also need...
So we need an audience.
Yeah.
Like an audience. And I need lots and lots of help. I need an army to help me do this vision. And that was another part of the original instruction God gave me, is go share this vision and ask people what they want to do to help.
So everyone's welcome. So pretty much what you're saying is everyone's welcome, but there will only be certain people that qualify
To be a contestant.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And the retreat is for contestants. So the end, the pageant is anybody and everyone. And we want everyone to come and see what we've done all weekend. But the actual pageant
5 days.
Yeah.
Staying overnight, that's for the contestants.
It is for contestants.
Gotcha.
If you want to come help me and stay on site, please do. Please come and help me and stay on site. You will have the same fee as long as I can work out the numbers. So contestants are staying 4 to a room. and they're all ladies, so they're 4 to a room. Volunteers can have the same rate just so long as I have enough to make it that way.
Right.
Okay,
gotcha.
Yeah. I need everything. Videographers and
So every room is 4 to a room.
my sleeping rooms are 4 to room to get that rate. If you wanted to stay by yourself, even with my group rate, it's like $810 for the same amount of time.
Oh.
So you're welcome. If you really want to come hang out, please come hang out. Shoot, I use all sorts of help.
Right.
Yes, and you're welcome to stay on site under our rate. If you're willing to stay with other people, or if you wanted to stay by yourself, or if a couple wanted to come on their own, they can use the group rate, but it wouldn't be $250. It'd be $810 to be by yourself for the same amount of time. Okay. Other questions? Who's excited?
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Excited. Yeah. So, and another thing we're doing is we're doing a charity arm of that. So several of you know FAMA. So Stephanie's here from FAMA. Kathy knows FAMA. I didn't know Kathy knew FAMA until tonight. And I introduced Debbie to FAMA. So FAMA is Faith Action Ministry Alliance. They are an alliance out of East Tampa. And they gather 4 different kinds of, I don't know how to call that, not quite organizations, but Christian heads of households, churches, nonprofits, and businesses. And they bring those people together to impact that area. They started a school. The school's been going for about 5 years now, I think. 4 or 5?
This coming year will be the 5th.
It will be the 5th year, so almost 5 years. My babies go to the school. It's a Christian school that they make available to kids who could not afford private school. It's incredible. The work they do is incredible, and they are that consistent work. It's not the church or the nonprofit that pops into a poor area, like does a razzmatazz and then leaves. This is not that. They are there, they're planted, day in and day out, they're working with these generations, and it's powerful stuff. So a portion of our proceeds will benefit them. So just know when you're participating with me, you're not just investing in you, investing in your lineage, you're investing in the next generation. It's powerful stuff. So that too, so I don't know about you. Maybe everything's going well. Maybe your legacy is exactly what you want it to be. Maybe you got things figured out. Who knows? Just in case that's not the case for you, your next step is signing up for this. To either be a contestant, we need sponsors, businesses, we need sponsors. That's another big way that you can participate. Big way. Any of your brands, we have a few. Like me, we have a few brands. So any of the brands that you want to, we have $500 you can sponsor 1 contestant, $1,000 you can sponsor 2. There's also a $5,000 level, $10,000 title sponsor level. So depending on what level you choose, this is what you get. I'm going to talk to Leslie about using Beauty in the Bay as our program. So put ads from our sponsors in the program and stuff. I haven't talked to her yet, but it's in my head. I'm telling you because I know you know her. So that's an opportunity also for you to get involved. Share this, share it. I need everyone's help. This can't be on one person. This is a community project, and I believe each one of us has a role in changing how marriage and relationships is done in America. Thank you.
Thank you.